Hi Capricorn, and welcome to your horoscope for 2024. Thank you for joining me. It really is a pleasure to speak to you today finally, because I've looked at 9 of the other signs and I have been speaking about Capricorn all day long because you really are the star of the show here in 2024, and the Capricorn energy is something that's going to impact a lot of people, and that's why you've been on my tongue all day. So I'm glad I'm finally here with you. What I want to mention first of all is that on the 21st of January 2024, we have a very significant shift happening. We have Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, death and rebirth, the phoenix rising from the ashes. It moves out of your sign of Capricorn and it moves into Aquarius. So it's the end of one era and the beginning of a completely different era. We're moving into the age of Aquarius, literally. So if you think about Pluto in Capricorn, it's been in there since 2008. What was happening in the world in 2008? We had something called the credit crunch. I experienced this firsthand. I was working in a bank at the time, and people's mortgages and savings, things that they relied on, securities, suddenly went poof and imploded. And it was a moment of great upheaval. Pluto has stayed in Capricorn since then, all the way up until today. And also, if you look at the last 3 years with everything that's happened, the way people work, what they can rely on, has really become very altered. And people have had to adapt and operate in new ways in order to make ends meet and to continue to move forward. But the interesting thing about this is that the two signs and the placement of Pluto in Capricorn and Pluto in Aquarius is kind of like night and day. So I just want to give you some keywords to give you an idea of this. So Aquarius values ideas and freedom. Capricorn is connected to institutions and working hard and working towards something in a consistent way. Aquarius appreciates revolution and radical new ideas and upheaval and innovation. It also rules astrology and technology, so expect major advances in those areas over the next pretty much 2 decades. And again, Aquarius is idealistic, it's impractical, and it likes to be out of control. Whereas you guys have the ability to gather your energy, to focus it in a particular direction, to control that thing in order to get a positive outcome. So this shift, it happens on the 21st next year, and then it will last all the way until 2044 pretty much. And I say pretty much because this planet moves so slowly that it's not overly surprising that it retrogrades one more time back into Capricorn, and it does that on the 2nd of September 2024, and then it moves back into Aquarius on the 19th of November, and it does that for good. But you see, the thing about this is Saturn is your ruler as Capricorn. You're an earth sign. You're focused on, I always think of the mountain goat. It has to, climb these really perilous rocks in order to get to the top of the mountain. And it's really a sign that is inspirational and enviable, and it can get a lot done. But the reason it is so positive is because it has the ruler Saturn, which is like a concrete slab. It's solid foundation, it never changes, and you can rely on this, you can build your house on it, right? Pluto being in Capricorn isn't such a good placement, because what happens then is I do all the hard work, I make the effort, but the only thing I can rely on with Pluto is that things are going to change. And the way it kind of manifests, or I think it has manifested over the last, 15 years, is that it's a sense that the rug is constantly being pulled out from under me. No matter how hard I work, I don't see the result that I want. And it's really discouraging. So what I feel is that out of all of the signs of the zodiac, you guys have really suffered the most, because it's been your nature and your gift really, which has been consistently undermined for the last 15 years with things like, it doesn't matter how hard you try, some things are beyond you. Things that you can't really argue with. It's like, it's all very nice that you set goals and targets, but you can't genuinely believe that you will achieve them. It's really demoralizing and discouraging. So the fact that that's been the case for such a long time with now Pluto finally exiting your sign of Capricorn, you can breathe a sigh of relief, and you can expect from the 21st of January onwards and beyond, for the next 20 years pretty much, for life and the world to make more sense, particularly from that earthy point of view. If I put the effort in, then I can expect to get something in return. The scales start to balance out and to even out. And you, out of all of the signs, naturally embody this earthy kind of practical can-do attitude. So you will retain that. And with Pluto now shifting from Capricorn into Aquarius, what is removed is that sense of futility and it's never enough. Which, I don't know about you, but I mean, if that's the case for me, that is super demotivating. So you've got that practicality, it's on more solid ground now, and with Pluto going into Aquarius, what is added to you is that you have a wealth of ideas, you become much more open-minded, and you're able to balance the earthy practicality with a much increased level of inspiration, thinking outside of the box, being interested in new ideas, generating new ideas, using your experience, your knowledge to be of service to humanity. And what happens on the 21st is that Pluto moves out of Capricorn. Pluto moves out of Capricorn in your first house of self. So the first house is where it hits the most. That's why I'm saying you've been affected the most by this. And now it leaves the first house and goes into your second house of money, belongings, and income, and it moves into Aquarius. So you will have great new ideas about changing your work or improving your work, or how you could work in a completely different way, and something that is exciting to you, and also that you feel is not just going to have a positive impact on your life, but on the lives of everyone else. And this is really the gist and the important bit. At the same time, you retain your Capricorn quality of being able to get things done. So if you take these wonderful ideas of Aquarius, which at times, I have to say, can be somewhat impractical, you're the one who's able to integrate those the best, because you are the worker. You're the mountain goat who takes ideas on board and is able to know where they're going to slot in. So this is an extreme shift. It is like a shift in consciousness. It really is. Like, I'm trying to say this as seriously as possible, that this is a fundamental shift in the way other people are going to operate next year. And you're in the best position because you had the worst of it for the last 15 years, and now you've got the best of it for the next years until 2044, because it's such a good combo. You're able to remove all the impracticality and get the most out of new ideas and how you can innovate, and you'll be the first who can actually put those into practice. So what I'm getting for you guys, Capricorn, first and foremost, is that starting in January, look at what new ideas come in, how you can put those into practice, and how that can change your working situation, your practical environment that you facilitate through your work, and you can enjoy the best of both worlds. And that is kind of underpinned and made even stronger by one thing that I'm reading a lot into. On the 1st of January, so the first day of the new year, we have Mercury, the communication planet, going direct. So it's been in retrograde since the 12th of December 2023. When Mercury, the communication planet, is in retrograde, you, one, have the ability to see things differently, but two, on a practical level, it can be somewhat annoying because your luggage doesn't arrive and the bus is late and the emails don't arrive. But for this to go direct on the first day, I think is rather symbolic, because it signals to me that the whole year is going to allow you to navigate all this new information that comes up, and you'll be able to pinpoint what is practical and what will work and what won't work, and you can then jump on those, you can pounce on them and use them to your advantage. We also only have Mercury going retrograde 3 times this year. Usually it goes retrograde 3 or 4 times, usually 4 times. So the fact that it appears to go backwards 3 times this year, and I'll give you the dates, from the 1st of April to the 25th of April, 2024, 5th of August to 28th of August, and then finally 25th of November to the 15th of December. It means that you're not going to be distracted. There aren't a lot of things going on in your life that are going to slow you down. So the key gift that you're being delivered here is like, you're so inspired with all of these fabulous new insights that you can then kind of capitalize immediately, and you're not going to be blocked, or you're not going to hear a lot of no. And the whole journey, it just feels a lot easier than it usually would. And it's certainly going to feel a lot easier than the last 15 years have, because the rug isn't going to be pulled out from under you anymore. So I think for Capricorn, this is the most significant shift, and you guys are going to be affected by it the most. And you'll notice that life seems to get a lot easier suddenly for no reason. And the reason is this shift of Pluto into Aquarius. For instance, Aquarius is going to have to watch out for this, because the great ideas are there already, but the practical stuff is missing. So you, again, are really like the first to arrive here and to make the most of this. The other thing we have going on is we have Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and creativity. That doesn't go retrograde at all in 2024. Usually it does. And I always mention this, when Venus goes retrograde, it's not a good time to start a new business or a new relationship, because your perspective is very different than when the planet is direct. So when the planet then moves forward again, it's like, wow, what was I doing for the last month or two? I'm going to have to undo all of this. So you're not going to have to deal with any of that. That also means you are able to make a lot more progress in terms of ideas that you can apply to work, but also ideas and new ideas about yourself, and being able to put to bed this notion that certain things are beyond my control. That was Pluto in Capricorn. That is replaced by, wow, a lot of stuff is in my control. I'd forgotten how much ability I have here. So I really think this is amazing for you guys. And then also, we have Mars, the planet of drive and masculinity. That only retrogrades once, and it's at the very end of the year on the 6th of December until, so 6th of December 2024 until the 23rd of February 2025. Mars is drive, ambition, focus, and that's also going to mean you can make a lot of progress in changing the way you see yourself and kind of making friends with yourself again, and being able to implement all of these great things in the physical real world that will ensure you have more options when it comes to your income, and fundamentally, a greater sense of choice. I don't have to be stuck in this working situation, or I don't need to work on this because I have no other option. Is completely flipped by 180, and it's like suddenly I have a lot of choice and options. So I need to no longer tolerate a working situation or a circumstance in my everyday routine that I no longer enjoy. I can let that go now because I can replace it with something better. And I also want to look at a couple of specifics. So the first thing that I think is really important in January, on the 27th, we have Uranus, the planet of the miraculous and the unexpected. That's been in retrograde since the 28th of August 2023, and it goes direct. So the way I interpret these is, a retrograde planet, you feel the energy internally. When it goes direct, you can notice it in the outside world. And with Uranus being the unpredictable and the chaotic, it's in Taurus, another earth sign, so something that you can access very easily. And it's in your 5th house of what you love to do work-wise, and the people you love. So it's kind of like the reward after a long 15-year winter that says, here you go, you have all these options and you can really devote yourself to things that you actually enjoy doing, plus they will reward you in return. Jupiter, the lucky planet, is also in your 5th house of what you love. It's at 5 degrees in Taurus. Jupiter is expansion and growth. And when you tap into the energy of Jupiter, it's pretty much guaranteed. Well, it ensures that there's some sort of good luck involved. There's some sort of good fortune that's going to come your way. And it's in Taurus. So when you are just authentically yourself and you say, do you know what, these are the circumstances, I'm going to use my energy and I'm going to work at improving these so that things are more beautiful and more valuable for other people and for myself. Not only will you benefit more, but you'll enjoy the process. So let me know via the email, but I think that you're going to be surprised at this new year, that immediately, as soon as it hits the ground running, so to speak, on the 1st of January, that things which have felt very drab and difficult suddenly seem fun and enjoyable. On the 25th of March, we've got an eclipse happening. It's a lunar eclipse in Libra. And I'm just going to change to weeks. Let's see where that happens in your chart. 25th of March. It happens in your 10th house of work and career. So the lunar eclipse is going to allow you to reevaluate the way you feel about the connections you've created so far in your work. So the job you have, the organization you work for, or your own business. And you'll be able to look at that and say, this is something that I want to continue to connect with because it makes me feel creatively fulfilled and I enjoy it, or I don't. And then there's no longer going to be this sense of, yes, but I have to do it because I have a duty and obligation and very few choices. It really opens up and you can genuinely say, I, by looking at alternatives, can change my working life if I choose. So again, there's this huge amount of freedom which you immediately tap into. On the 8th of April, we have a solar eclipse happening in Aries, and that happens in your 4th house of your roots, your family, and what you kind of call home. And that also allows you to look at the circumstances that are established now and what you want to do with them in future. So I've been in this relationship for a while, I've been uncertain, and now suddenly I know I want to get married. Or I have decided that, the 50 square meter flat has been okay for now, but now I decide that I would be even more comfortable in a smaller flat or a bigger flat. Ultimately, the fire and the certainty returns your power that you're able to rearrange the established structures of your life so that they suit you better, and you're not going to feel any sense of doubt around that. And underlying what I'm saying, if you have more choice, it must mean that you're adding more value to the world and that you're getting more value back so that you have more freedom to make these adjustments. So it looks really good in terms of, I think the most important thing is that you feel this sense of, I can actually shape life the way I want it to be, and that you get that sense of power back and motivation. And I also think that financially, you're going to see things go up very quickly in 2024. On the 2nd of May, we have Pluto starting its retrograde until the 11th of October, and it starts its march back into Capricorn, which it then reaches on the 2nd of September. So it kind of oscillates between your first house of self in Capricorn and your second house of money and belongings. And this retrograde between September and November 2024, it's like revisiting where you've been in the last 15 years. And it's a reminder that, things have really opened up in the last 9 months here in 2024. Here's a little taste of the way things were. So it gives you an even greater appreciation. And then it goes back into Aquarius on the 19th of November, and then you've got it forever. Well, for the next 20 years. And I really think this is going to motivate so many of you guys and to give you the sense that anything is possible. Because look at how capable I am. And now the world has become so much easier as such that I'm genuinely motivated to expand and to make it happen for myself. I love this for you. On the 26th of May, we have Jupiter, the lucky planet, going into Gemini. 26th of May, it goes into Gemini. And it moves into your 6th house of work and your daily routine as well. So it's at 1 degree in Gemini. And it's, if I have an idea, I'm allowed to implement that and run with it. Because, of course, some doorway of opportunity is going to appear. I mean, it's 2024. Look at how things are going. Of course, this is going to work out. So that's kind of half the battle. You start to shift gears into assuming that, of course, things will work. And it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the outcomes are going to be much better in terms of your work, your daily routine, your income, and even your physical health and the way you feed your body, if you want to change anything around that. On the 29th of June, we've got Saturn going retrograde until the 15th of November. Saturn is your ruler. So this is actually a wonderful thing for you because it retrogrades in your 3rd house of communication. Neptune, the water planet of dreams and intuition, is nearby. It's 10 degrees away from it, so it's conjunct to Saturn. and that retrogrades on the 2nd of July until the 7th of December. So both Saturn, the structure in the sense of ease, and Neptune, the dream and the vision for the future, they start to be revealed within, and you're given kind of a platform now on which you can metaphorically rest and say, this is what I know in my bones, in my DNA. This is what I want, and this is what I want to move towards. And that the circumstances that block me or that delay this, or people who say no, are completely irrelevant. I know it in my bones that this is going to work, and I give myself permission to pursue that, knowing that it'll work out. So your outlook changes completely and it becomes so positive. On the 1st of September, we've got Uranus going retrograde until the 30th of January 2025. And that's the second retrograde of Uranus this year. It was retrograde from August 2023, remember, until the end of January, until the 27th of January 2024. And that makes sense. Uranus's path through the solar system is super chaotic, so it's kind of all over the place. But with that retrograding in your 5th house of what you love in Taurus, it's more of the same. It is now crystal clear and almost tangible. This is what I love, and it doesn't matter how unconventional or how unusual it may seem to other people. This is what I love to do, therefore I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make it happen. So there's no stopping you guys. On the 17th of September, we have a lunar eclipse in Pisces. 17th of September. Let's see. Lunar eclipse in Pisces happens in your 3rd house of communication, and it sits in between Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So the moon is your heart. It's the way you feel. So I'm starting to repeat myself, which is a really good thing, because you're going to be so certain of what is meaningful to you, regardless of anyone else's input. And what comes with that is the sense of the universe wants me to do something. It wants me to pursue my own hopes and dreams, because this is an opportunity where things will work out. On the 2nd of October, we have the last eclipse of the year. This is the solar eclipse in Libra, and that takes place, again, in your 10th house of career. And it's the final kind of check-in moment of saying, is this something I still want to connect with? Or do I want to change direction completely? So what this says to me is that if you felt a sense of obligation, or, I didn't have a lot of options before, I've got this job and I've kind of rationalized it. It's not the dream job, but it's good and it's solid and I've got used to it. Then by the 4th of October, you're really going to get to this crunch point where it's like, do I really want to make things fit? Or do I want to just go with what is and what I feel? So it's Capricorn having a really honest conversation with itself and saying, should I settle for this or should I do more? Or should I keep searching and going? And you know what I'm going to say? I think it's, again, a great chance and opportunity for you to jump on that dream that's been eluding you for a while and to really see the reward as a result. And then finally, on the 9th of October, we have Jupiter, the lucky planet, going into retrograde until the 4th of February 2025. And again, that's in your 6th house of daily routine and structure. It's in Gemini at 21 degrees. If I think it, then I can see a way forward in the real world and I can make it happen for myself. So listening to me talk there, it really seems almost too good to be true, because you've come from such a spot of struggle and you've continued to try and try and try, and you've used your stamina and you've thrown, spaghetti at the wall and hoping something would stick. And now the whole thing is going to stick to the wall and things are going to work much more in your favor. So congrats to you. I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with. And I'm so glad to see this turnaround. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. And I promise I'll have a drink of water so I'm not constantly playing with my dry lips. I've been talking too much today. Yeah, so if you would like a personal reading, go to gregoryscott.com. In my personal readings, I draw up your birth charts, same thing, and it's a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born. And it really shows me a great deal about your life purpose, strengths, weaknesses, what's coming up in future. If you have any questions and specific questions, anything at all, please do get in touch for a personal reading. And if you'd like more information, then check out the monthly horoscopes on the channel, the weekly horoscopes, and also the daily tarot readings. Have a great time, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.